Zilla Fatu removed from promotion. Mercedes Mone big mistake. WWE AEW collab wrestling news.
What is going on, guys? It is WrestleMania here, back with another video. Join us now as we look at this week's edition of SmackDown, as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including, is Roman setting Cody up? Zilla Fatu removed from promotion? Could he be WWE bound? Mercedes Mone makes a big mistake? Is an AEW WWE collab even possible? Samoa Joe appearing in an upcoming video game? And much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new videos on WrestleMania XL. As always, we won't recap the matches, but just look at the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. As always, we start off with the good as number 1, a sizzling starter. LA Knight's title defense against Andrade had it all. A wild back and forth in the ring, a big fight feel thanks to the build-up that got Andrade his title shot, and Andrade showing good sportsmanship rather than going with a cliched heel turn just because he lost. Number 2, now that was different. And the Cody and Roman segment was different, but was it good? The WWE's decision to create a cinematic promo to put a spin on cinematic matches already has fans talking about whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. Like anything new in wrestling, it will invite debate about whether it belongs in the show, but last night's presentation worked very well. Number 3, Aldis explains Tornado stipulation. Nick Aldis' explanation of why he made last night's women's tag match a tornado match to avoid Bayley and or Naomi from refusing to tag out because he wanted to get the pin and earn a title shot was a reminder of how to use authority figures effectively and explain storylines in seconds rather than leaving fans guessing. Number 4, can Cody trust Roman? Can Cody and Roman coexist? Now normally we'd be in full cringe mode at the thought of another can this team get along trope, but here the stakes are so high and the rivalry is so intense that fans can't help but wonder whether Cody and Roman's team will collapse to their animosity as they face the very real threat of the bloodline. Number 5, fight Owens fight. Kevin Owens is a wrestler who has so many intangible qualities that it's easy to overlook his unconventional appearance. One of these qualities is KO's passion for pummeling opponents despite the odds, which fans saw again when he tried to take on the bloodline all by himself. And a clever finish for the women's match. Last night's stipulation-packed women's tag match was fun to watch because of the 4 talents involved and the tornado tag stipulation. However, the finish of Bayley and Naomi getting the pin on Nia Jax was all the more impressive as it was unexpected and set things up for a Bayley vs Naomi match next week. That was the good. What about the bad? Is number 1, 4 matches on SmackDown? 4 matches on SmackDown just doesn't seem right, especially when one of them is a squash match. SmackDown has improved tremendously from the days when it was full of drawn-out promos and filler matches. Nonetheless, the WWE needs to figure out a way to include more matches to advance storylines and give wrestlers more exposure, especially if the rumors of the WWE cutting back or even scrapping live events comes true. Number 2, game over, man. Should the WWE's undercard superstars start shouting game over, man when they see the bloodline or find themselves booked against Solo Sikoa and his wrecking crew? Although it's important to use talent to get new stars over and or establish them as monsters, as to what point do fans start looking at SmackDown's roster as glorified jobbers? Worse, what will happen if the WWE continues feeding marquee players to the bloodline, then suddenly reverses direction with them as Solo Sikoa went from unstoppable to just another talent? And number 3, Giovanni jobs again. Why did Giovanni Vinci lose again to Apollo Crews? Fans who wondered why Crews, a talented wrestler but someone who's been used for years to put over other wrestlers rather than getting pushed, squashed Vinci before, hoping this might lead to something bigger. However, his second loss to Crews has many fans flummoxed. We were tempted to put this in the downright ugly, but we're reserving judgment as we believe Vinci's losses will lead to some sort of career rehabilitation, either by working with someone new or adopting an even more ruthless style. Nonetheless, the WWE is treading on dangerous ground with their losing streak storyline, as we've seen so many before. Now, there was nothing downright ugly, but Vinci's loss to Crews came very close. SmackDown was hit and miss last night, and while there were more hits than misses, it was the type of show that WWE needs to avoid making a habit of. Maybe the 3 hours is better in the long run. But what do you guys think of the Blue Brand last night? Let us know in the comments down below. Now let's move on to the news. Our first story looks at, is Roman Reigns setting Cody up? Now, top of today's news is the fallout from last night's face-to-face between Roman Reigns and undisputed champion Cody Rhodes. The segment, which was unusual in that WWE presented it in a cinematic format rather than a traditional promo, saw Roman tell Cody that Rhodes is in a lose-lose situation while Roman has nothing to lose. Interestingly, Cody's biggest concerns was whether Roman will have his back when they face Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu at Bad Blood. It's a question that has many ramifications, as Roman made it clear he's coming for Cody's belt after he settles his beef with Solo and company. Now fans have to wonder whether Roman will betray Cody, not in the sense of aligning with Solo and company, but leaving Rhodes in the ring by himself in a situation where Cody could get kayfabe injured and become easy pickings for a title match against Roman Reigns. Next up, Zilla Fatu removed from promotion. Is he WWE bound? Now some recent news from
And if it ain't you, we gon' know. Yeah, we gon' know.
Playtime's over. Ready up! On me.
From Game Changer Wrestling suggests Zilla Fatu's WWE debut could be imminent. GCW recently announced that Fatu won't be appearing at a scheduled event or any time in the future. Zilla Fatu will not be appearing on tonight's GCW event in Philadelphia or any GCW shows for the foreseeable future. We tried our best to avoid this situation, but we have reached an impasse. We wish him the best. Matt Tremont will now face Slade tonight at GCW Aura in Philly. The 25-year-old wrestler is Umaga's son, and his name has been discussed as another member for the Bloodline. However, if Zilla Fatu does show up in WWE, fans shouldn't rule out him aligning with Roman Reigns. Next up, NXT episodes leaving Peacock. NXT is moving from the USA Network to CW very soon, but a new report from WrestleVotes Radio states that reruns of the Black and Yellow brand will no longer be available on Peacock, and the entire NXT library may be moving. When they make their debut on CW, NXT episodes will no longer be available on Peacock. If you're watching the show after it airs a day later or whatever, you can't do that any longer on Peacock. In addition, Peacock is going to start pulling NXT episodes that previously aired. While it's understandable that CW doesn't want to pay for NXT episodes only to have them air on Peacock, there could be even more drastic changes on Peacock. We're not sure if that's the entire library dating back to Finn Balor and Kevin Owens and Shinsuke Nakamura and all that stuff from Full Sail that really got NXT going. We don't know if that will disappear, but it's likely that everything from NXT 2.0 up until today will disappear and move over to the CW app. There are some unanswered questions about other NXT content, questions that will likely be answered soon once NXT begins airing on the CW. But with that said, we don't know if takeovers are included here. Again, it could be just the 2.0 stuff, which would include deadlines and No Mercy and things like that could disappear from Peacock. A lot more of the recent NXT stuff will be gone from the WWE Network / Peacock. The report reinforces the problem WWE fans may have accessing classic content as the WWE sells the rights to its programming to different partners. Next up, Julia works her first live event. While the WWE may be decreasing its live events, NXT is still running house shows, and fans got to see Julia work her first house show, in this case in Sebring, Florida. Wrestling News notes Julia teamed up with Jada Parker and Lola Vice to get over Fallon Henley, JC Jane, and Perez in a trios bout at Friday's house show in Sebring. It'll be interesting to see whether the WWE cuts back on NXT live events, as they're seen as an important tool for NXT talent to improve in the ring and work in front of a crowd. Next up, Mercedes Mone makes a big mistake. Mercedes Mone is coming clean about a mistake when she expressed interest in working with musical artist Megan Thee Stallion. You may recall Mone told TMZ last August, "A couple of years back, me and Meg were supposed to do something in the ring together. We were just rehashing that conversation, seeing where that could all play in the future. Whether she's going to be my tag team partner or my opponent, we have to see. But I want to get Megan Thee Stallion in the ring very soon one day." That collaboration hasn't happened, and Megan Thee Stallion ended up providing the new theme for SmackDown along with RM of BTS. Whether this was an unfortunate coincidence or one of those accidentally on purpose situations that tend to arise when the WWE and AEW are involved is a question we'll leave to you. Next up, is a WWE AEW collab ever possible? Do reporters have any idea of the intense rivalry between WWE and AEW? Well, apparently not, as AEW president Tony Khan was once again asked whether the two promotions might work together and replied, "I can't say ever, I mean anything could happen at some point, so it's hard to say. What's the timeline? In the next 100 years? Quite possibly, who knows?" While the WWE AEW collaboration could be fun for the fans, the WWE's aggressive business policies against AEW, or some may call them competitive while others may call them predatory, make it unlikely there will ever be WWE versus AEW matches unless the WWE buys them out or vice versa. And finally, Samoa Joe appearing in the upcoming video game. Last but not least, congrats to Samoa Joe for landing another role in a video game. Joe, who's appeared in many wrestling games, will appear in the upcoming game Yakuza Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. Game Rant reported Samoa Joe can be seen briefly toward the end of the trailer. While his role in the game isn't entirely clear from the short time he was shown, it looks as if he may be an enemy pirate whom Goro and his friends may need to seek counsel at some point. The game is scheduled for 28th February 2025. But there you have it, folks, our look at SmackDown, as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.